This is a video about Fluxx, the card game of ever-changing rules. I'm going to give you an overview of how you play, but stay tuned afterwards for some reminiscing about where the script for this overview came from. Okay, so Fluxx is a very easy game to learn. When we start, there are only two rules you need to know. Draw one card on your turn and play one card on your turn. However, since this is the card game of ever-changing rules, those rules will in fact quickly change. There are four kinds of cards in the deck. The first type of card is called a new rule, and these are used to add to or change the rules of the game. Often these will change the number of cards we draw or play on our turns, but often they will do other things too, as we shall see. The second type of card is called a keeper. Keepers are played on the table in front of you, and they represent various things or concepts such as time, money, cookies, war, peace, love, death, and chocolate. The third type of card is called a goal. Goals establish or change the winning conditions of the game, and they usually require that you have a particular pair of keepers on the table in front of you. The fourth type of card is called an action. Actions are one-time event cards that let you do things like stealing someone else's keeper or getting rid of a rule you don't really like. We start with each player having 3 cards. As soon as someone meets the current goal, whatever it happens to be, that person wins instantly. You don't need to wait for your turn to come around in order to win. And that's how you play. Who wants to go first? Now, this spiel that I just read is the one I was using back at the very first Origins trade show that we exhibited at 10 years ago this summer, Origins 97. And here's a picture of what I looked like back then in our booth demoing Fluxx. And I played Fluxx. We were set up. I was playing Fluxx over and over again with people all day long for 4 days in a row. And this spiel that I just read is, I just went into my old logbooks and I pulled out, I'd written it down. After I got back, because I'd gotten it down, so this is how I did it over and over and over again. I wrote it down while it's still fresh. And so there it is. That's my 10-year-old 80-second, as I defined it at the time, my 80-second Fluxx rules spiel. But as long as I'm talking about that original Origins, here's some more pictures. Here's our team. Here's me and Kristen, and that's Keith Baker, world famous game designer Keith Baker, and his wife on the other end there, Ellen. And that was us. That was the whole team. It was nobody but the 4 of us there. And here's a picture of Ellen in our booth there. We had this whole, because the original edition of Fluxx was all in black and white, we had the our booth was sort of done up in a black and white theme, and you see Ellen was all dressed in black and white, and she was like our original booth baby, see? And here's one final picture from that original Origins booth. As you can see, we had this thing going with the eye. In the original version of Fluxx, there was a keeper called the Eye, so we had these 3 TV sets set up with eyes on them that were winking out at the people who came by.